Good evening. So today we are going to see 7th standard term 2 first poem, the poem of adventure. Already I have posted first video for this which explains you glossary and about the poem. So this is the second video. So this explains you the poem. Deep inside the mountain, the adventurers hide themselves. They are of all forms and shapes. They all have an excellent ending because those that live their lives in adventure see the world in an extraordinary special way. To attract the adventurers into the patterns of habit, you only need to close your eyes and ask them to embrace you. So deep inside the mountain, so in our life, in this land, in this world, we have so many adventures which is hide themselves. They are of all forms and shapes. It has different shapes and forms. They all have an excellent ending. So every adventures have an excellent ending because those that live their lives in adventure see the world in an extraordinary special way. So those who want to do these kind of adventurous things, these kind of daring things, they are seeing this world in a very extraordinary way, in a very special way. To attract the adventurers into the patterns of habit, you only need to close your eyes. So if you want to do such a daring things, you should challenge. So you should know how to dare that, and you should know how to attract the adventure, and you only need to close your eyes and ask them to embrace you. So if you want to do that daring things, you should have a courage and brave enough to do that. Then only you can do that. So with wholeheartedly you should do. So without any interest, if you do, means it won't work out. You can also imagine that you are transparent. So you should imagine that you are transparent. So transparent means what? You are ready to face anything, whether it is success or failure. You should ready to face that. So that is transparent and feels the wind stream through you instead of going against you. So you should face, so you should ready to face both success and failures. Or imagine there are tiny little wings on your back, and every time you take a new step you bounce a bit. And also you should imagine that you have tiny little wings on your back so that you can fly without wings. And every time you take a little new step, you take a new step, you bounce a bit. So you should jump high to achieve, to attain your goal. So to do the adventurous thing, you should jump high. Maybe life itself is one big adventure if only you have the correct shades on. So maybe this life, so living this life itself is a great adventure. You should know how to live this life, and you should know how to live this life happily. So this is poem, the poem of adventure. So now we are going to see the Age of Chivalry, the second poem. I already told you, isn't it? So this is a combination of two poems, the poem of adventure and then the Age of Chivalry. So now we are going to see the Age of Chivalry. So here the poet wants to show the brave part of soldiers, that is adventurous part of soldiers. Back in the days of old, when knights were bold, who with a sword or lance in armor sought romance. So back in the days of old, so in olden days, knights were there. So knights means what? Soldiers. So soldiers were there. They were brave enough, they are bold enough to do anything. Who with a sword or lance in armor sought romance. So they are always with a sword or lance. So lance means what? See the first picture, that long stick is called what? Lance. In armor sought romance, they are always love to wear that armor in order to safeguard their life of king and land. It was the age of chivalry long ago in man's history. So in man's history, long ago in man's history, it was the age of chivalry. So chivalry means what? வீர தீர செயல்கள் செய்யறதுக்குன்னே அந்த காலத்தில் one group of peoples are there, when to fight for a righteous cause, and they fought only for the, and they fight only for the righteous cause. When to fight for a righteous cause, one did gain considerable applause, and also they got considerable applause, praise for that. It was mainly for show, love and glory. So the soldiers are showing the strength and courage only to show their love and glory. They deemed themselves being worthy, and they also want to show that they are brave enough to do anything. So for that only they are doing these kind of daring things to capture the heart of some fair maiden. And also you may heard in those days, if you want to marry a fair lady, if you want to marry a if you want to marry a rich people, you should do some daring things, then only you can marry a fair lady, isn't it? So that to capture the heart of some fair maiden, which was the most desired prize laden. So if you want to marry a fair lady, you should show some daring things, you should do some daring things, you should do some courage, you should show some courage, then only you can marry a fair maiden. Oh, they would strike heavy blows on all of their opponents and foes. Sometimes they might have got heavy blows also from their opponents and foes. So opponents means what? Opposite party. So in battle, two parties are there, right? Here one party and then opposite party. So from opposite party, they might have got heavy blows also in a 1-to-1 combat, defying death. So in a 1-to-1 battle, so combat means what? Battle. So in that battle, they are ready to face death also. As crowds watched with a bated breath, and they are watched by the crowd and they forgot to take breath also. So like that, they are fighting with a grace, they are fighting wholeheartedly. Yes, it was far back in those days of yore. So it is long ago. So long ago the soldiers were like this only. They were brave enough to do anything, and to safeguard their lives they can do anything. That courage and strength came to the fore. So they want to show the courage and strength, so that only they are showing everything. Where there was this life and death struggle. So soldier's life is always like a struggle. So death or life, so life or death struggle. So நம்ம சொல்லுவோம் வாழ்வா சாவான் போராட்டம். So that is the life of the soldiers in those days. Such issues at hand the knights would juggle. So that's the life of the soldiers. So this is the life of soldiers. So they are always struggle between life and death. And in fighting for their country, faith and king, noble impression on people's mind would ring. So they are always fighting for their country, faith and king, and they want to get a good opinion from the people. Then even through the ages are held in high esteem, and also they want to get respect from their people even through the ages. So after many years also they want to talk about themselves with a high respect. Those knights in shining armors do now all seem. So those who are in shining armor, they always want to respect them, they always want to talk about their strength and courage. There are many legends based on their heroic exploits, a legacy of tales which have been told with much adroits. So they always wanted to show their heroic deeds, and also they always wanted to talk about their heroic deeds, courage and strength, highlighting aspects of wisdom, human wisdom related to virtue and vice. So they always wanted to highlight their human wisdom. Wisdom means what? Knowledge related to virtue and vice. So virtue means good cause, Vice means bad cause. So doing good and doing bad. So both they are doing. So soldiers நல்லதுக்காகவும் போராடணும், கெட்டதுக்காகவும் போராடணும். And the lessons to be learnt are those of goodness and sacrifice. So from this poem we are learning that the soldiers are ready to sacrifice their lives in order to safeguard their life, in order to safeguard their land. History usually repeats itself time again. So history repeat again, and you should always ready to fight for a noble cause. As it often happens, a situation comes when we are asked to do something for a just cause. At any time we should ready to fight for a noble cause, for a just means what, for a good cause. And acting with chivalry, we didn't pass. So we shouldn't pass means what, we shouldn't stop. So we shouldn't stop to show our chivalry. ஸோ நம்ம எந்த காரணத்துக்காகவும் நம்ம வீர தீர செயலை வந்து காட்டுறதுல வந்து நம்ம வந்து எப்பவுமே வந்து ஸ்டாப் ஆகக்கூடாது. we should not stop to show our chivalry. So that's the end of this poem. I hope this is very useful for you. Thank you, students.